Let's go to Houston. Let's talk the Texas Bowl. A little Big 12 versus SEC action. Texas A&M versus Oklahoma State. Texas A&M, what are you getting? Oh, this graphic's terrible. I left Rocky Lombardi in there. Can you believe that? So if you're watching on YouTube, you actually get a treat. Instead of Alan Bowman, you get to see Rocky Lombardi,
What a
which is
stud.
absolutely a treat. But I guess let's talk about. I'll fix that in post, I
Is there
guess.
much of a difference from Rocky Lombardi to Alan Bowman?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I I I personally actually don't hate Alan Bowman. I think like, if you watched a couple games this year, like there's some games where he absolutely brings the team down with him, but there's some games where he played kind of balled out. Oklahoma is going to be a huge example of that. I thought,
Yeah.
look, Alan Bowman in the Texas game, he made some pretty boneheaded plays, but there were also some like he makes some throws. He's got good receivers there. You got Ollie Gordon there. And Texas A&M, you're asking like, what do they have left on their roster? Jalen Henderson, third-string quarterback, transferred from Fresno State, will be playing this game. You saw him play in the LSU game. You saw him play in the Mississippi State game. He was kind of dialed in. He was a little bit dialed in there. Now, what does the coaching staff look like for Texas A&M?
Who's calling plays?
I don't know. I don't know because Bobby Petrino took the offensive coordinator job at Arkansas. Elijah Robinson's going to be the interim head coach, but he's already recruiting guys for Syracuse. You know, in his free time when they're not practicing. So like how bought in is this team?
It's gonna be James Cooley and Jim Chaney sharing the play calling duties. Jim Chaney.
Oh, goodness gracious. I mean, I don't feel great about this. I'm an A&M fan, and if you guys have been following all year, I've taken A&M, I've gone against A&M, and it feels like every time I get it wrong, except the LSU game. I'm gonna go against A&M here. I'm gonna take Oklahoma State +2. Here's the reasoning, right? You had a guy like Chase Basantis who'll be starting at right tackle, maybe over Dern's Crowder, maybe. Who knows? Like he hasn't practiced. He's been in the transfer portal. He's been visiting schools. He hasn't been. I mean, they've. You haven't had Evan Stewart for a while there, but on the defensive side of the ball is a lot more concerning, right? Fadil Diggs, one of your most productive pass rushers, gone. Walter Nolan, very good interior player, good in the run, good in the pass, gone. McKinley Jackson, probably your best defensive lineman overall, right there in the interior, stop and run. I mean, you saw when he came back, even like last year when they struggled against the run, he came back. The run game defensively was just night and day with him in there. He will not be in that game. And a team like Oklahoma State's going to be trying to run the ball. You just know. You just know. So I'll be fading. And then also too, you're gonna have true freshman corners, Javon Thomas, and you're also gonna be having Bravion Rogers likely starting at corner, true freshman. There's just there's just a lot going on. Isaiah Rakes also enters the transfer portal as well, another interior defensive lineman. It's just the new era of Mike Elko. It's just there's gonna be a little turnover. They'll still have a pretty decent team next year, but just right now in this bowl game, I don't expect them to be popping off. Also, Jake Johnson in the transfer portal too. Their tight end.
It's just gonna be Max from
So it's just gonna be Max Wright and
Theo.
Theo Orstrom from Sweden. So that's it though. That's it. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird. But what do
I,
you got?
I will say I'm gonna fade you here. I like A&M in this game. I think -2 is pretty low, even though let me tell you, it scares the poop out of me because you mentioned all those opt-outs, all the transfers. Like it does not look good up front in the front there. I think there is some depth there. I like Albert Regis. Okay, let's see what Gabriel Brownlow Dindy has in him as a former 5-star freshman. Maybe DJ Hicks gets some run there as well, which I'd love to see. But I, I don't know. I just think Oklahoma State is just bad. I think they are really, really bad. I think Ollie Gordon is about the only thing that makes that thing tick. And also, I don't know. Their defense is awful. I think A&M can just line up and run the ball and be fine. And it doesn't really matter what you do in the passing game. I think they'll just kind of road grade Oklahoma State. Eventually, Oklahoma State will turn the ball over, force or go on punts and whatever else, and they'll get too far behind to actually rely on Ollie Gordon. And A&M can kind of just ease their way out of it and cover the 2 points there. But I don't know. Yeah, this scares me for sure. I think if both teams are full strength, I don't think this is really a debate. I think this line is much higher for sure. But all those opt outs for A&M, the coaching changeover, but also like if you're a player there at A&M, right, you better be playing your tail off because you got a new coaching staff coming in. Put something good on film to give you a chance to start and compete in the spring there once Elko and his staff gets in.
I mean, other opt outs, Ezrin Cooper. I mean, first team All American linebacker, possible first round draft pick this upcoming NFL draft, number one linebacker in a lot of people's boards. He's also not playing. Layden Robinson, their starting guard. I mean, how good has he really been? Hard to say. He will also not be playing. It there's just a lot of opt outs. There's a lot of opt outs. There's a lot of people in the transfer portal. It's just hard to. I don't know what the mindset is in this locker room with these guys. I don't know what the coaching staff's doing. A lot of these guys are looking for new jobs. I mean, it's hard to say. Elijah Robinson has his eyes on Syracuse already. You know, he does. He's literally Fidel Diggs is committed to Syracuse. I mean, next up, is it going to be Isaiah Rakes that commits to Syracuse? I don't know. Like, it feels like Elijah Robinson's already got a foot out the door. Done a lot for the A&M program, but it's going to be interesting.
Again, it's a tough spot with the calendar. We like continue to talk about it, but it's just been a really brutal December for a lot of teams. You're 1 foot in the door, 1 foot in the door. You have players in the transfer portal that are still playing in games. You have coaches that are taking new jobs and playing in games. It's a lot of work for all these teams to balance all that, and then you got to go and prepare and recruit and et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I do think it helps that Chase Visantis withdrawed his name from the portal and could play in this game because I don't know who else would have been there to play. I mean, hopefully Cam Dubé gets some snaps there in the interior, but behind that, it's hard to run a practice squad. Like, you don't have a practice squad. A&M probably does not have a practice squad, and that's part of the advantage that A&M has is their practice squad is so deep and with talent that they can get some good looks there and on that in their practice reps and whatnot. Again, it scares me. I just do not trust Oklahoma State in the spot here. I'm gonna go A&M. I like what I saw with Henderson. I think Le'Veon Moss and those guys will run the ball well. Hopefully, Ruin Owens takes a step forward in this bowl practice and those young guys in the secondary. You have 2.5 weeks to get ready for this game, 3 weeks to get ready for this game, and take advantage of those practices.